So the Brooklyn Nets have already thrown one monkey wrench into my theory that next year's free agency is going to be a little more exciting than we might think. By re-signing Caris Levert, I thought there was a chance that some team was going to give him a lot of money in restricted free agency and force the Nets to make a tough decision. But maybe because of his injury and whatever else, Caris has decided to sign a hell of a bargain for the Nets. 3 years, I forget the exact number, but it's in the 50s. It starts at $16 million in 2021, and it ends up at nearly $19 million in 2023. And with the way the cap is going to go up over the next 4 years, whatever it's going to be, but I know it's going to be something, this is really a wild bargain for the Nets for so many different reasons. I mean, one, just look at Caris Levert, the player. We saw how good he was before his injury, creating his own offense. And now, of course, his role is going to be different. Granted, this upcoming season, he's basically going to be a 1-2 punch with Kyrie. And then after that, he's going to be the number 3 guy behind Kyrie and Kevin Durant, of course. And I guess he can trade places with Dinwiddie as the 3 or 4 dude, but I would think Caris would be that more often than not. And that's just really good for your number 3 option, I would say. Now, are there some questions about Levert's ability to play off of guys? Maybe. I mean, his shooting is maybe the one thing that you can side-eye a little bit. Granted, he was knocking down shots pretty damn well in that round 1 series against the Sixers. He was great that series in general, really. But, for the regular season, not the best. And in his second year, a little better, 35% on 3.5 a game, but still not amazing. But still, this is just really good. I mean, this is kind of like what the Bucks did with Eric Bledsoe. The difference is Caris Levert's probably better than Bledsoe, assuming that his injury doesn't affect him in ways that we don't really see coming just yet. There's also a chance that if Kevin Durant is not the same player when he's back from his Achilles injury, then, I don't know, maybe Caris' presence can be really huge then. I think the other things to look at, though, here are, this also makes Caris an amazing trade chip. Not that I really know why they would trade him, but, things can sometimes go south, whether it's fit or personalities or whatever, right? And that's just a very tradable contract for a very good player. I guess another thing to notice is just looking at the Nets' salary situation the next few years. It does seem like they're going to have their top 4 guys, KD, Kyrie, Dinwiddie, and Caris, while staying under the luxury tax. Because now, after doing this Caris thing, in 2021, they're committed to $131 million right now. And according to not basketball reference, Real GM, the luxury tax is going to be $142 million that year. So they're $10 million under that. Now they have some decisions to make. They want to re-sign Joe Harris, re-sign Taurean Prince potentially. But I would say they're still in a really good position. The other thing that's interesting is Jared Allen's contract. They have a few guys between John Musa and Karooks, and I mentioned Prince and Harris there, but Jared Allen's very important for this team's future as well. And the 2022 season is when his contract is up, the luxury tax for that year. Again, according to Real GM, $151 million. So the Nets, as of right now, would have nearly $30 million to play with in re-signing him and still staying under the luxury tax. Now, a lot of things can happen in that time, and we don't always know exactly what the cap is going to be until the day of them determining that stuff. But if those are at least solid projections, then there's a chance the Nets just really don't have to shake up their roster too much. Now, if there's a chance of whatever happening, Jared Allen's definitely a trade piece as well. And we've also seen the last couple of years, if you have great perimeter talent, you can just devote not too much of your salary towards the center position, right? I mean, they're going to have DeAndre Jordan for about $10 million until the end of 2023, which, yeah, it's not a good deal, but, I mean, apparently that helped get you KD and Kyrie, so you do it. But, I mean, if DeAndre can be playing, I don't know, 20 minutes a game, then I guess that's good enough. The dude has never gotten injured, so I guess that's a pretty safe projection. And then if you can just have some sort of center on the roster, whether it's Jared Allen or not, that's probably going to be good enough. And if Jared Allen proves to be one of the best defenders in the league, which I think is at least kind of possible, I don't really think he has like Gobert potential, but whatever the level below that is, I could see Jared Allen getting to. That could be a pretty frightening team that can dominate the Eastern Conference. Granted, by the time they're re-signing Jared Allen, if they're re-signing him, KD and Kyrie are done with like over half of their contracts, but you still have 2 more years with them, and of course, you can always re-sign them, but I mean, we don't know what's going to happen over the next few years, positively or negatively. It's definitely looking good for the Nets, but you know what I mean. So yeah, this is kind of a home run move all around. The last thing I want to talk about is, does this affect the upcoming free agency, right? My theory of guys like Caris Levert getting a 20-something million offer and all that, whether it's Brandon Ingram, Jaylen Brown, whoever else. I could still see that happening. I think it just takes one guy off the market. But it'll be interesting to see if we see this with like those kind of dudes. Like maybe in January or maybe next week, the Pelicans and Brandon Ingram agree to a deal. Especially because, similar to Caris, Ingram has had health concerns with the blood clot stuff. Now, if you go into the details, Ingram's blood clot thing does not appear to be as frightening as like Chris Bosh's or even Teletovich's. But they are still blood clots at the end of the day, so maybe you just want to secure that money. In the case of Jaylen, whoever else, I don't know. Jaylen doesn't have an agent, so there's 9 million things that could happen there. So, yeah, this is cool. Is this potentially a sign that we're going to stop seeing the Otto Porters of the world getting max deals? No, I really don't think so, because it only takes one team in one particular situation for that kind of thing to occur, so yeah, I mean, plus, we just saw Tobias Harris get a max like a month ago, and Tobias, he's a good player, but he's probably on the same wavelength of Caris Levert, so again, that just goes to show you how much of a bargain this really is, so yeah, good move for the Nets, good move for Caris, and that's it.